Well, hello, and welcome to part 7 of this Demon's Genesis RPG Chapter 1 walkthrough, and part 7 is actually the last part in this particular walkthrough. For Chapter 1 we'll start Chapter 2 going forward. I did think about not making this video at first, because mostly we're just going to cover a cutscene that follows on the next screen, but I wanted to go over a couple of concepts as well quickly, just that I haven't mentioned so far throughout the walkthrough, at least I think I haven't. I think I did mention them, but I ended up cutting it, so I want to talk about them here. And I also want to talk about some of the general themes that go on in this story, and also cover some of the kind of frequently asked questions that I get about this game as well, because that all makes sense at the end of Chapter 1, I think. If it is a problem for you, do be warned that there'll be spoilers ahead, because I am going to show the entire cutscene both with and without Samael. If you have Samael, the whole point is that he meets the character on the next screen, and that's why it changes his character later on, whether you've met him or not, and it changes the interactions that these two characters have together. But let's cover a couple of things that I haven't covered yet in the playlist, I think, and then we'll move on to the final scene of Chapter 1. So the only thing I haven't really covered, at least I think again, that I haven't really covered is the status screen in the menu, which is actually worth pointing at, because we do have at the moment 3 different types of characters, but there are multiple types of characters in the game. Some of them are from the Agalos culture, like we're dealing with right now. Some of them are from demon culture, which we'll meet a little bit later, specifically in Chapter 3 and later in the game. And there's also the main character that we'll meet him in the next scene, so I'm not going to talk about him just yet. So the Agalos actually have 3 main types of character. They have a warrior class, they have a scout class, and they have a hybrid class. And if we click on status, you can actually find out who these people are. So at the top we've got the name, which is Ibn Hart, and his role, which is Ark of Eden. This is his role in general, and it's also his role in game. We can see his level, his total HP and his HP currently, his total DP and his DP currently, the experience that he currently has, and the experience he needs to get to the next level. So he needs 682 to get to level 8. On the left hand side you can see his stats. This changes based on the equipment that you wear, and I don't think I went into great detail about the armor and stuff. So we can see weapons and armor on the right hand side, and the armor is different depending on whether you're dealing with an Agalos character, a demon character, or the main character. The main character can wear basically everything. The Agalos can only wear Agalos gear, and the demons can only wear demon gear. So for example, there are 3 types of armor in Agalos society. There's clothing, Agalos ranged armor, and Agalos armor. Ark-Eben and any warrior can wear all 3, but any kind of scout character can only wear clothing and Agalos ranger armor. And at the bottom as well there's a little bit of information about the characters. So it says Ark-Eben is charged with the day-to-day running of Eden, the City of Light. And each character is going to have their own page, so I'll just go through each one quickly, just to showcase them. So Samael, as you can see, is a Fravashi warrior. He's technically a guard, but the class in game is Fravashi warrior. And Samael tends not to speak until spoken to. He's Ibn's personal Fravashi. And Gaban is captain of the guard, which is also a type of Fravashi warrior, but he's the top level Fravashi warrior basically. Ninja Gaban is captain of the guard in Eden, and his primary role is the protection of the city. And Sylvia is a scout, though she is the head scout, so she does have some special skills. Angel Sylvia, which is spelled wrong here, whoops, I'll just change that, is head scout, usually charged with leading skirmishes, which she has proved very adept at. And the last character, of course, is Yoka Malak, who is a Fravashi scout. Yoka is a fairly inexperienced Fravashi, but he hopes one day to be considered worthy of protecting an angel. And as you can see, both Yoka and Sylvia are wearing the Agalos Ranger armor, because they can't wear Agalos armor. Agalos armor is considerably higher in defense as well. The last thing that I will mention quickly is whenever you see me on this screen, you will see that I have a debug option. You don't have this option. This is for my testing purposes, and it helps me basically make the videos quicker and in general to test the game when I'm going through the test. So don't worry that debug is not in your menu. It shouldn't be. So now I'll play through the 2 versions of meeting Aiden. I'll play the one with Samael first, and I'll play it without Samael, and I'll just let it play through without me talking. So if you do want to play the game before this point, then get into the Discord, which I'll mention at the end of the video, and showcase where to find the game. If you don't care about spoilers though, you're going to see what happens at the end of Chapter 1. Right, so there we go. I did say that I was going to play both versions of the cutscene, but to be honest, the difference is so small you can probably see what's going to change. Samael just doesn't interact in the small interactions that he makes. They don't share a look between Aiden and Samael, he doesn't take Ibn's swords, and he doesn't add his one line that he has, so everything else is the same. The main difference is what happens going forward in the game with Samael, so I don't see the point of playing it twice. So just to cover two things that happened there that are quite important. Yoka got promoted to actually a Fuvashi, so now he is named by his first name, not by Malak, and that should continue for the majority of characters throughout the game. Samael met Aiden in this playthrough, which is going to colour their interactions going forward. And depending on whether you chose the softer route or the harder route with Ibn, basically depends on how Ibn is going to interact with Aiden going forward, but he's always going to have a different interaction with Aiden than he does with the other characters, because they have a kind of special bond. And the last thing to mention here, just relatively quickly, is that you will continue in Chapter 2 playing as Aiden, and he'll be a little bit older. So there's that as well. There's not too much to do on this screen really. You can walk around, but there's nothing to interact with. You can see that you can go all the way over the bridge, and you can walk wherever you want, but there's really nothing to do here. So when you're done, and when you're ready, you can escape. Then you get a screen where it says End of Chapter 1, would you like to save? I'd always suggest putting a save here, and if you are playing multiple playthroughs where you have different versions of different characters, then you can obviously leave them at the end of chapters here, and it's pretty easy to carry on from this point. The only thing that is worth noting that some people get a little bit scared about, if you do save here, it will show that you have no characters in the save file. It's just because the character exchange doesn't happen during the save, it happens after the save. So your game will be fine, it's just that it will show that there's no character to see. And 10-year-old Aiden starts off Chapter 2. To end off this video, and probably how I'll end off the majority of the chapter ending videos, I'll just show you basically how to play this game if you want to. So you can join the Discord, which is linked in the description, the Worlds of Demons, sorry, and it will land you on the welcome page where it tells you about all the different projects that are going on. If you do want to play the game, if you go down the left hand side here and get to current build, you will find the most up-to-date version, which is right here. And if you want to play the older versions of the game for whatever reason, which some people do and some people have requested, you can go down to where it says RPG versions and change, and you can find the version archive original game, and you can find every single version that's existed before this point, so you can play it at any stage of development. The alpha version does have more of the story than the beta version at the moment, because the alpha version is basically at the end, but it's a completely different draft of the story, so just keep that in mind. You can play a full version. If you download Demons version 6.4, you'll get the entirety of the first draft of the book, essentially, but it's been updated quite considerably since then, even if to some people this still just does look like a general RPG Maker game. The UI elements still need work, of course. The last thing that I'll mention very quickly, when going around the Discord and in general while being part of the community, you can actually see my work on other projects. So if you are wondering what this 3D artwork is and why I'm using these characters instead of the 2D characters, it's because this is the long-term goal for the Demons projects. I am making a 3D VN, visual or virtual novel, depending on which terminology you prefer. And you can actually find 3D representations of the majority of characters that exist already in-game, but I do still have some to make. So for example, we have Ibn Hart on the screen at the moment, the main character that you've been playing as the whole time. So in 3D he looks like this, and we can take for example Gaban Hart as well, because he's not too far away. So Brother Gaban is also a 3D version here. This is all work in progress, but you can actually see all of this as it gets updated in the Discord as well, so that's another reason to potentially join the Discord if you are so inclined. And with that, I'll leave that here for Chapter 1 and for Part 7 of the walkthrough. Thank you very much for watching. If you did watch up until this point, as usual, please leave any comments, questions, etc. that you need to in the comments below, or have a join of the Discord and come chat to me there. I'm very active and you can come and speak to me about whatever you want. There are specific channels for specific projects. There are different places for the book, different places for the game, different places for just generally chatting. Come by and say hello. I'm relatively friendly and we have a relatively friendly community too. But I'll leave this one here for now and leave you with the ending screen as usual. That's it for this one, and that's it for Chapter 1. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now. How kind of you to stay for the outtake that usually comes at the end of these videos. Well, I'm not going to give you an outtake, but I am going to give you the general blurb I give to anyone who I'm querying about the book for Demon's Genesis. So as angels patrol the borders of Eden, they discover a creature long thought to be legend, a human child calmly sitting surrounded by the most dangerous beasts in their world. A normal life is impossible for Aiden Detta. On occasion he wakes up in unknown worlds, with no understanding of how he got there, but can return at will after the first time. He divides his time between the place he learns to call home, but modern ideals on Earth and the traditional and militaristic upbringing in Eden collide as he can't secure his right to prove himself on patrol. When he later wakes up in Hell, that opportunity presents itself, and he helps the devilry plan battles in a demon civil war. Back on Earth, he discovers a creature that doesn't belong trapped in his bedroom and realizes his travels leave a footprint, one that can be used to track and, even worse, summon him. With incompatible values instilled in Aiden, he is viewed as an outsider wherever he goes. Though his journey sees him face to face with physical demons, he learns that the internal kind are often worse. Contains adult themes throughout. Thanks for watching.